Do you actually need a fixed blade knife for bushcraft? Stick around and let's find out. Here we have the Lars Fält Casström UK legal bushcraft folder. It's a Scandi grind folding knife with a slip joint, which means that the blade can't be locked in the open position. And for that reason, it complies with the very stringent UK knife laws, which allows us to carry a knife with a blade length of less than 3 inches, provided that it can't be locked in the open position. So this knife has been designed specifically to meet that criteria. And it has a Bowler N690 stainless steel blade, curly birch handle scales, all the fixtures and fittings and pins are solid brass, and the leather belt sheath is chestnut colour and works incredibly well for carrying this every day. So it's a very well designed knife. It has a Scandi grind blade, which is quite unusual for small folding knives, but it does make it very suitable for light bushcraft tasks. So my first task is to fell a small sapling. Now this one is a fir tree that is shaded by the canopies of much larger trees, plus it has a lot of squirrel damage to the bark, so it's very unlikely to grow into a healthy mature tree. And for that reason, I'm going to take it out, and a tree like this could be used as part of a shelter, or you could use it to make tent pegs or all sorts of different bushcraft tasks. So the technique I'll use doesn't involve any chopping. I'm just going to bend the sapling down, and the most acute part of the bend here is where I start to make my cut. So I'm cutting down straight arm. I'll do that again. There we go. Bit messy, I'll tidy it up with a saw afterwards. Even though this is a slip joint knife with a sub 3 inch blade, it can still be used for light chopping. And the way I'll do that is to put my pinky finger through this leather loop, and now I can pull back and just pinch with my thumb and index finger. So I've got all of this weight of the knife here, and this can now be used to do very, very light chops, just like this. So I can remove the small branches So it's not perfect, but it's better than nothing. Now a nice little task to test its performance is to make a tent peg. So I'm going to use the chest lever technique, which involves holding the knife like this, creates a nice little cross position here, and now I can use my back and shoulder muscles to make a very powerful cut. So even though it's a very small blade, I can cut through quite thick wood. The versatility of a small knife like this is on the basis that you're probably going to have it with you. It's a legal UK carry knife. So if you do forget your tent pegs when you go camping, you can always make some. So just as an example, using just a very basic thumb technique, I can round off the top of this here. And I can also make a little notch if I want to. So I'll make a little notch here. Make a stopper cut first of all. There you go. So a very basic small notch here. And if I want to make a point, I could either use the chest lever technique or a straight arm motion like this. And all the force comes from the pulling of the wood towards the blade. So the blade hardly moves at all. And as long as you're realistic about the diameter of the wood and what you expect the performance to be, this knife does the job. Okay. No knife review would be complete without me making a survival spatula. So I have this little offcut of wood here, and I'm going to use my Lars Fält slip joint knife by Casström to make a survival spatula. It's one thing this Scandi grind is very good for, is working wood. So this is removing quite a lot despite being a very small blade. I've been working on this for about 10, maybe 15 minutes, doing the finishing touches now. And the Scandi edge is doing the job perfectly well, so I can do all the fine carving here. But it can also be used for some of the heavier cuts as well, using more dynamic movements like this. So despite its diminutive size, it's very capable of making a perfectly good survival spatula. And because of the knot here, I've even got a little lanyard hole. How cool is that? Another useful survival skill, which this knife should be capable of, is to make a decent feather stick. So let's have a go. I'll try this technique first. This kind of works. I'll try a slightly different approach. So with a very short blade, this technique is not great, but there's enough protrusion for it to work, sort of. Well, that's not too horrible. Well, it definitely works for feather sticks. Maybe not quite as well as a full-size bushcraft knife, but the fact that it's a folder doesn't seem to affect it at all. And because this is a slip joint folder, I wouldn't want to use it with the blade open, because there's a good chance it could fold on my hand. So I'm going to close the blade, and there's enough of that exposed here to use the fire steel. So let's try that. Great, here we go. Okay, that works. Oh my gosh. Thank you for watching my review of the Casström Lars Fält UK legal slip joint folding knife. Well, that was quite a mouthful. Now, I really like this knife, but I'll be interested in hearing what you think, so comment down below. But there's more to come, so don't forget to like and subscribe to our weekly content, which is uploaded at 1 PM UK time every Saturday. and we'll see you next time.